President Biden ordering tough new sanctions on Russia in retaliation for what he calls the beginning of an invasion of Ukraine. The growing crisis could have serious financial fallout for Americans. CNN's Brian Todd is working this part of the story for us. Brian, the president talked about gas prices specifically, but the impact could go beyond that.
It could, Wolf, but tonight the concerns of many Americans are centered on the gas pump. A senior administration official says today's sanctions were targeted to impact Russia's economy, not the U.S.'s, and that they're designed not to affect oil prices. Still, the president is warning Americans they could feel some pain. Tonight, President Biden's message to Americans. The escalation in Ukraine and the sanctions he's imposing on Russia as a result could hurt you in the wallet.
As we respond, my administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump. As I said last week, defending freedom will have cost.
Pain that's already being felt at the pump.
It's like my second biggest expense to food. Gas is just out of control.
Russia is a major oil producer, second only to the U.S. If a conflict in Ukraine damages oil infrastructure, if sanctions are placed on Russia's oil sector, if Vladimir Putin decides to halt exports in retaliation, gas prices in the U.S., already at an 8-year high of $3.52 per gallon for regular, could spike.
The last time we saw oil prices that high was about 2014, and that translated into gas prices of about $3.70 something per gallon. So you could imagine you'll see something similar today.
Other prices for energy could rise as well.
Think about heating your home. Think about keeping the lights on. Things like a plane flight are going to get more expensive. Driving to work is going to get more expensive.
Overall, inflation could get worse as businesses raise prices to offset higher energy costs, and some goods or materials may see price volatility. And interest rates could also go up faster.
When interest rates go up, your debt payments on everything from your home to your car to education to really any kind of debt you might have, credit card debt, that all goes up.
And markets could see a stock sell-off as they did today, so people's 401ks could drop at least temporarily. Another concern, possible cyber attacks if Putin retaliates for sanctions. The Colonial Pipeline hack in the U.S. last year shows hackers can easily disrupt America's economy. Just one attack on one company caused a price spike. Panic buying set in, and many East Coast gas stations ran out.
The Americans will feel that very imminently because it'll affect their access to power, to water. It'll affect their emergency services. That's a very big escalation if the Russians choose to do it. People's access to immediate cash and payments could be interrupted.
To prepare for possible economic fallout of a Russian invasion, if that happens, the experts we spoke to say there are a couple of things you can do. If you have debt like high-rate loans for your home, car, or credit card, try to pay those down. Put off purchases of big-ticket items like appliances. And for people who invest, just don't take big chances in the market. Wolf?
Good advice indeed. Brian Todd reporting for us. Brian, thank you very much.
CNN's Christine Romans, our chief business correspondent, joins us now with a look at where and how this could have an impact.
Good morning, John. You know, Putin's vice grip on Ukraine gripping global markets. Markets trying to catch their breath this morning after the S&P 500 slid into an official correction yesterday, a correction that's a 10% drop from the recent record high. The uncertainty stoked by potential war in Eastern Europe ricocheting from stocks to grain prices to the oil market. The question now, will new sanctions from the U.S. and Europe stop Putin's aggression or further feed into the global inflation picture? With allies, President Biden sanctioned 2 big banks and began cutting off Russia from Western finance. And this is just the beginning. The White House says more depends on Putin. Germany halted certification of that Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline that would connect Germany with Russia. It's dramatic because the EU depends on Russia for more than a third of its natural gas. A crisis in Europe has implications for everyone, John. It's a global market for energy. Any supply disruption from fighting or from sanctions could raise prices further. Brent crude, now around $96 a barrel, had been near $100 a barrel. Gas prices in the U.S. already above $3.50 a gallon on average, up 20 cents in the past month. You can expect $4 nationwide by the summer. Now, President Biden pledged to use every tool to blunt gas prices, but he acknowledged they are coming. And it's not just energy. Food costs could also rise. Russia is the world's largest supplier of wheat. Ukraine is called Europe's breadbasket. It's not far behind. Together, those two countries make up a quarter of global exports. Ukraine is also a top exporter of corn and barley and rye. Putin's misadventure in Ukraine comes at a time when global inflation, already running hot in the U.S. at a 40-year high. Of course, it will be the Fed that will have to be aggressive to fight that inflation, even as Putin is being aggressive in Eastern Europe.
Christy Romans, thank you very much. This has a global impact, to be sure.